but it's gonna be a tall order because it's gonna be quite interesting. I believe they're both on the same ping. Correct me if I'm wrong.
The same no, because Requimish is NEA and Clown Crew is SA, so there'll be some ping involved there, especially if you like, you have Japanese killers as you do, all the way over down to the Philippines, which can range around the 60 mark. I mean, even though that's technically still under 100, so it's not enough to really put you at a major disadvantage, but it's enough to put you at one where it's inconvenient, where you're going to be getting hit through pallets, because 60 ping is all I know and love, but regardless, we'll be loading in on the side of Ask on the Wesker, who'll be rotating all the way down to the 7 side of the map now, looking around for these stealth out survivors. We do find Crazy AF not quite being able to jiggy around the killer, unfortunately, and just getting hit through down to the car. Now running all the way down to 6 as well, so making the death spot nice and early, probably being called out by the team. Love to see it, but just choosing to greed this Godrock, and I don't agree with that. That should have been pre-thrown. We could have made so much more distance and maybe made something a little bit more favorable as opposed of the just the edge map over at Deep 6, but this is the pain rest hook here, unfortunately, so whatever gen pressure would have been happening in the background will all come crumbling down. And team, we have to ditch this shack generator. This is way too central for the killer to kind of proxy around. You can't really be working it straight after that first down. If you don't get shack done within the first chase of the match on Wrecker's Yard, just drop shack gen. It's not worth it. Play around the other generators at the moment. The other gens are uncorrupted. You have no reason to really play for Shack, but nevertheless, made a really good far def spot from all the other generators. So, well done to Crazy AF. But yeah, just maybe don't play so greedy next time, unfortunately. And we do manage to find 2 survivors still greeting this generator. Know that this is going to result in no pressure. Ask if it's going to keep on rinse repeating, just kicking them off this generator, and nobody's really crossing that deep 6 side of the map. No one's really able to get that unhooked, so hopefully, I think it was the Renato and the Adam, Tucker and Geo just kind of working that main generator, that shack generator, so hopefully we can see Satoru pop one in any second now. And Ask is just going to be flinging Geo into the Bridgestone tires. This could be a quick 2-tap if we're not careful, but we're able to break away via sprint burst. Some very nice stuff there from the side of Geo. We do see the generator in the background being worked from Satoru, being popped. So some good, definitely a good thing to note in the for our survivors. Sorry, but we're going to opt to leave this on the side of Ask. We have gotten our tag, and we're going to go for something, maybe someone a little bit more, maybe just out of position, going for the unhook, but we're just opting to really camp this to death, and he knows there's no other gen pressure in the background. Having 2 survivors just working that shack generator, and obviously having Satoru have just popped the generator over in the background over at top side, and we do manage to find Taki just stealthing here over at 5, so automatically we have Problemas team, so maybe someone coming in hot for that pull at the moment, but we don't see anyone crossing over, so maybe they've just opted to go for some more gen pressure. And we do see a generator over at 7 sparking in the distance, but we're in such a power position on the side of Ask. He's a little too smart for whatever game plan that the Clown Crew is really going for at the moment. And we are pre-leaving. No, we're not pre-leaving effectively on the 7 generator, but we're able to get Shack done, which is quite interesting. We kind of just let it slip through our fingers on the side of Ask. Not sure if he's going to pick up on it, but we might be able to get it done. So mighty fortunate for our survivors. But yeah, a very nice grab there and slam into the car there, Gohan.
Yeah, the very good skinny bird, or skinny Wesker as some people call it as well, utilizing the reduce the power recharge time by 10%, and then obviously the increased duration of chainbound by 50, thanks to the egg. And he's got a good amount of pain rest hooks in this top side, but unfortunately all his gens are on the complete other side of the map, so not looking the best for Ask, considering all his gens are here all the way from 1 to 4. And he's already found his next survivor here, and if he can get Geo here, this will spell a danger as well, considering he is fully infected. So if he gets Ouroboros tagged, he's getting slammed into the wall and onto Wesker's shoulders. But unfortunately, or fortunately for Geo, he has managed to escape just in time to be able to get that spray, and he does all the way at the 1 tile. So well done to Geo for evading that. But we do continue on the chase here now on to the 2 side of the map. But no, we actually, honestly, we are just going to opt to go for Satoru. And honestly, with that first death being so, I don't want to say quick, but unfortunately just not heavily fought for, it kind of spells a little bit of troubles, and unfortunately not being able to make the check spot on the side of Taka. Ask being able to get that just in time, and unfortunately we do, so that's the. Luckily, we were able to get the pallet drop originally, so we were able to vault that just in time. So now we are just going to try and look for our other survivor.
I think Ask played a little too aggressive, to be honest with you. All he really had to do was sit main and 7. Didn't really have to let Shaq pop, so I'm just really flabbergasted at the fact that they actually got that done. But nevertheless, more recent time events, we do see Satoru going down over at corner 7. So nice and far away from those top generators. Not too sure what the progress is like in the background, but we do see scratch marks left on the side of Geo to run all the way down to 2. We do see a little bit of progress over here at 5, but we'll be taking the kick onto that. No eruption because the cooldown was still in effect, but Geo now having to loop around this crane over at 3, which is mighty inconvenient, but we're going to be breaking that on the side of Ask, and Geo got nowhere to really run after this. I do say this is going to be maybe a quick tag, but we're able to do a nice little bit of jiggy, and that's kind of like the ping that I was talking about, unfortunately getting hit through that. I think maybe just slightly, unless MS that doesn't hit, but maybe just like the Urotech too strong, who knows. Ask going to be leaving that, going straight back to the hook and kind of anticipating that, yeah, rotation will be happening right about now. And we do see Taka just vault the T of this LNT. And a little bit of mind games is going to spell a little bit of trouble here on the side of Taka, but we're able to play the check spots very nicely. But Ask is just in such a good position to just let Satoru go to death, unfortunately. So now it all just like is going to start falling apart from here. I do think that the 4K3 is solidified at this point. We do see 2 survivors all in the same area. Guys, this is the problem that we were seeing before, unfortunately, is like we saw over at 2 that they were both found in the same position. We need to be splitting up, and on the side of Taka, just trying to juke around these little half wars is not quite working out in our favor, and that's going to be another down and another painers. So you definitely know there's no progression on the map, and now all Ask has to do is find Geo, and it's not really that hard to find the bleeding and grunting survivor, unfortunately. Luckily, we're playing Adam, so the grunts of pain aren't necessarily the loudest in the world, but he is over at 2 with spray can in hand. I don't think you're going to get that one off, buddy, and we are hot on his trail on the side of Ask, and we have spotted the blood trail, and this will be the 4K3 done and dusted. So mighty unfortunate stuff for Clown Crew, but there are a few notes to take from here going forward into their next sets, even into the the next match rather, for their survivor team, because now their killer is met with a 4K4 win con, and survivors met with 4K2. So basically, survivor side just pop 3 generators, and then you basically have won the set. The killer really has to pull something out of the hat here, and on the other team's pick, it seems to be very unlikely. But you know, seeing it from the spectator's point of view, you always see more than what the players see. So you know, because yeah, just this is looking pretty heavily sided in the favor of Requimish. But again, Requimish being one of the favorites to kind of go through to the final stage. I know they've had a rough start to the tournament, losing both games in their group stage. So, well, you know, in the past 1 to 2 weeks, and it's been major upsets because we saw the 95 to 5% communal vote going in their favor last week against Harden, and they let it slip through their fingers. So, again, hopefully they can prevail in this match, and it seems likely. They seem to be putting up quite the performance. It is Taka on the masterminds, and as I would have presumed, he does play a fair bit of their killers, so he's going to be double dashing all the way over into mid-12, where he has this nice hill to overlook everything. But we have vaulted straight into him on the side of Sin, trying to get a life proc and not playing check spots, unfortunately. Mighty blunder there, so we're going to be running all the way down to 6, and this is quite a similar start to what we had seen last game, Gohan, where everything just kind of fell out of place after it, but hopefully we can pull back on the side of Sin and just try to last a little bit longer. I mean, that first tag is just not what you need.
Yeah, especially right, like I feel like he most likely saw Taka on the hill, but then assumed that he was going to go inside, so maybe that's why he's vaulted out into his loving arms. But unfortunately, wasn't the right call he was probably going to make. But nevertheless, we are going to be chasing here at deep 6 as well. So maybe they're cranking out a gen, and we do see the Firecracker drop as well. He still hasn't used Shack yet, and he still hasn't used this this pallet on its own. But we do have this pretty much the same add-ons as well. I believe it is also the same build, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong.
You know, we've bought Pop Goes the Weasel instead of Eruption, so that's the only difference that you see in the build.
Okay, yeah, I see. So, well, considering you have to lock in your builds before as well, it is quite rough seeing that it is Pop as his option here, considering we do have to get a 4K4. Basically, we gotta get the dub like right here, right now. And we do see another gen heavily progressed here as well, but unfortunately they're not able to get the 5% back onto the generator, so we aren't able to kick it with Pop straight after. And we most likely got some more progress on probably on Deep 12, if I'm going to be honest, because Deep 12 is the only other gen I could see being worked on. Maybe even the generator at 3, but oh no, there isn't even generator at 3. It's all all the gens are bunched up on the left side of the map. That is, I don't think I've ever seen that type of generation before. That is interesting.
It's quite interesting. I mean, you do still have access to 12, so that's probably the one you sit on in this instance. Even 6 is pretty safe. I mean, whoever's sitting this generator over at mid-6 tile is just kind of going to get pressed off it, but it is only one survivor, so we can kind of afford to let that happen, especially if that person is playing for the pool. We do see that it is, I think, Shirali working over at this 11 gen, so maybe no progress over at 6, maybe some over at 12. We do see Andy working this generator over at mid-6. I just need to, yeah, I would have presumed that it was 12 and not 6, because 6 is still fairly close to the hook. And yeah, so is that mid-6. Sorry, I was referring to deep 6 before, but so is that mid-6. We do see the second stage hit onto Sin as well, but these gens are just ready to pop. So this would be just Requimish taking the set just on gen pressure alone, unfortunately. And Tucker just playing a little bit too defensive, unfortunately, for the win con that he's been given. You kind of really know at this point that you need to be roaming around and trying to catch survivors out of position and make sure you're getting downs adequately. And lo and behold, that is 12 popping in the background, and that will be the win con achieved for the side of Requimish. So very good stuff from the boys to kind of just realize and just sit generators over in the background. Tucker, unfortunately, not really quite doing what he needed to do, but still having a really good game nonetheless. This is how you would approach a game if you were setting the win con, I would presume. So, you know, it's not necessarily that Tucker is playing bad. It's just the way that he played the set is not according to how he needed to play to facilitate the win con. And now with Sin just playing this pallet over here at 9, just going to be running away after getting hit through the endurance status effect. And we do see our Vittorio Shirali here playing for the pickup onto our survivor who's been slugged on the floor, and it will be our Lara Croft Soraman. My God, sorry, I do apologize, but we'll be taking the pain risk hook onto them, slowing the gen pressure even more on the side of Taka. So yeah, all things considered, Taka's still playing fairly good. He just needs to get this tunnel out nice and quick, and we can have a 3v1 at what seems to be 2-to-1 generator remaining. So very stock standard stuff for the side of the Wesker, but we did just see an FTP happen over in Shack, which is going to make things a little bit harder. So might actually entice him to play for his fresh hooks a little bit more, but we have managed to find I do believe this is our near here Sin, our tunnel out. So this is a good thing in our in this instance, but again, just with the full health state, it's going to allow them to last long and even longer with life in hand after vaulting that pallet. Now kind of getting caught on the rock just a little bit. Not really got much to go after this, and if Tucker would be just playing for best possible result here, and the best possible result is just to get some sort of 4K, I think that would be in his best interest at the moment. But with the way the survivors are playing at the moment, and the fact that we aren't able to get that quick tap onto our tunnel out, and you know, I do imagine there would be a generator in the background. I do see outs happening at the moment, unfortunately for Taka. going to be using his dash over here at the crane, and nice little bit of jiggy over on the side of Sin, who's going to be running all the way down to the corner side of 11, going down. No eruption proc in the background because we haven't brought eruption, and that's kind of negative thing about having Pop Goes the Weasel in hand instead of eruption is like even though you're kicking gens in the background, nothing's going to happen after the first kick after your hook. So. Nevertheless, we'll be taking this hook onto 11 on the side of Sin. That is the tunnel out at 3v1. There is a reset happening in the background. Not too sure who will be working what generator at the moment, so maybe we don't have gen pressure in the background to kind of feed the thought of getting outs at this point. So Saraman just kind of sitting over at mid-6 here. Tako's just roaming around the map and trying to find his next chase, and if he can get a quick 2-tap here, this is looking pretty likely that it'll be 4k1. But I would have imagined that there would have been more gen pressure in the background. I was sorely mistaken. This is still this is definitely still 4kable for Taka. Go on.
Yeah, indeed it is, especially with the fact that Sorman hasn't even sprayed yet, so he's still able to get one tapped as well, as long as he uses the dash to get that down as well. But this gen progression as well is going to look quite rough, and we have found someone out here as well, and unfortunately it isn't Lara Croft, it is Andy Laurie. So we are going to be able to get that tag onto Andy quite quickly as well. But what does this spell for the rest of the trial? I'm not too sure, because I don't know what kind of progress we are looking at, but we do see Sorman is finally going to get rid of their infection, so they are not going to be one down for the count, but we see a lot of gen progression here at Shack as well, but we do have a tight, not a tight 3-gen, but we do have a 3-gen nonetheless. As long as we play this right and play our cards right, we are going to be able to hold this, especially with the fact that he does have pop. So maybe if he, if he was setting the win con, this type of playstyle would work quite well, but unfortunately he is chasing the win con, so it's not the best idea, but hey, setting the best possible result from now on is still going to be quite grand for Taka. So we'll just have to see what he can do. But we do see the gen pop actually happen where he actually needs to be going. So I don't know what happened there. Maybe someone has missed a skill check by the looks of it. So he is able to get that kick onto as well. And he's found Andy again. And looks like they were actually able to reset Andy within that time frame as well.
No, I think what happened there, Gohan, is it wasn't a skill check. It was Lyth from the side of Shirley. As you would have seen, the Andy balance landing survivor sitting over at the rock, while meanwhile Shirley just sitting in the window and vaulting it for Lyth. So they're just playing to be in the best possible position to use their exhaustion. Actually, no, wait, no, it was it was Sin that was Lyth. Okay, I'm smashed. No, never mind. You're probably right. I'm not too sure. Anyway, Andy is just going to be taking chase around this 8 tile here. He's going to be greeting that very nicely too, but not quite being able to take it after the fast fall. He's going to be getting tagged there. Now running all the way down to 10. If we can get a quick switch around, yeah, it is a sprint burst on the side of Andy. So it wasn't balanced landing. Okay, it was a sprint burst, but still kind of favorable over at the rock sometimes when you drop. But nevertheless, we're going to be taking that quick tag onto Soroman as well. That's right. I don't think there's balanced landing allowed in tier 2. I'm just losing my mind a little bit at the moment. Taka, again, going back on Gen Patrol. Survivors playing very passive at the moment. Everybody injured. Tight 3-gen, like you had mentioned before, Gohan. I don't imagine they'd actually be able to really break this if Taka is able to hone down on it. And he's venturing a little bit far to go find that reset. I do be happening over at Deep 12, and we do manage to see it. But we have 99'd our survivor there, Laurie, Andy, who will be now taking chase, and we have managed to find Soromin, so they are they're not fully infected yet, but they are infected nonetheless. Maybe Shirley in the background doing a generator while these shenanigans over at the top side are happening, who knows, but Taka opting not to go for the chase too much onto Andy, who's rotated all the way down to 9, and he's going to go back on Gen Patrol because he doesn't really have any reason to overcommit this. He does see some scratch marks over here at the Shack. We'll be taking the kick onto that generator and now looking for the injured survivor, which was Shirley working this Shack generator, and he's here. Taka's not careful. He's going to be running out of kicks on that Shack generator. Now Shirley getting a little bit caught out of position, unfortunately, and just greeting that very nicely, swinging through that. Oh my god, we vaulted into the killer. What's happened here, gang? That's crazy. We're going to be taking the hook onto Shirley now, and I do believe this will be his first hook at the trial. So as it currently stands, we're looking at 5 hooks after this one happens, and Things are looking weird at the moment. I can't tell who favor. I would say the survivors because you have two healthy and a hook over at 12. It doesn't really do you any justice on the killer. I think he should have dragged a little bit more to inside his generator so he was able to hold it just a little bit more. I'm not too sure why he hooked so far away, but nevertheless, we'll be going all the way down into Shaq. No progression happening here. There was a unhook happening in the background, but Tucker is quick to realize that somebody would have just rotated all the way down to one of these generators. He would imagine that would be a one-man reset happening at 12, so it's good game awareness and knowledge on his part. We do see Andy over here at 7, who would have been working one of these generators over at the bottom side, and we do have the kit coming in from our Wesker Taka here, who will be going all the way back down to Shaq and trying to go on Gen Patrol, one after the other after the next. So, playing in a little bit of a triangle here, as we like to put it, the Dorito. So, he will be moving up towards this top side of this rock and trying to see who his next victim will be. And it does seem to be Saraman, who will just be running around this mid, or Soramin. I'm not too sure. Oh, I need to ask how I actually say that name because I don't want to butcher it any more than I am. And nice greeting down the hee-hee-ha. So this is exactly what we were talking about a little bit before when referring to G Money's chase there. No tag is going to spell Taco just running away from that chase and opting to go for something a little bit more in his favor. We do manage to find Shirley, who'll be taking chase all the way down to 12, but Taka doesn't want any of it. He knows somebody's in the background working one of these generators. He's up to go for 7. I'm not too sure if you find the survivor around here or if there is a survivor around here, and we'll be taking the kick onto that generator, maybe going all the way down to deep 6 where we could catch someone off guard, but it is regressing still, so nobody working over at 6. And now we're going to go all the way back down to Shaq where we could potentially find somebody working Shaq. And it does seem that somebody was, as we have fast vaulted the window over into 3. We do see another set of scratch marks just kind of over at this top 12 rock. And now running all the way into 2. And everybody is healthy at the moment, so no tags on the board is going to make these chases very hard for Taka. Now we're going to be using the window on the hee-hee-ha-ha tail. Not quite swinging that time. Very well thought out by Taka to not swing at it again for the second time and re-release the second album, but we're just going to opt to go all the way back down into Shaq once more, kick that again, and these are the spikes happening after 4 kicks, so I do presume that is around the 5 to 6. I think it's at 5 at the moment at Shaq, so I think they're just trying to count the chickens on the fact that Taka's going to run out of kicks over at Shaq and then try and get Shaq done, but we have managed to find Andy. He's going to be greeting that pallet over at 10, now dropping it instantly as well, playing the check spots around it, and Taka going to take this quick tag, and this might actually even be a quick down. It is the fling Gohan.
He got the fling, but unfortunately he still makes the pallet, and apologies for interrupting there, I am sorry. But he is going to actually walk up to Crane. They still got quite a lot of resources, even though they are on the 3v1, but unfortunately Andy isn't going to be able to run the Z-Wall to perfection. But looks like Taka is just afraid of that generator popping, and unfortunately it pops right in front of him as well. So that is going to be not the best for his team, but nevertheless he is going to be trying his best to try and get the best win con possible. So he's going to try and play it and for this slug and maybe even another tag onto Shirley. But the dreaded Z-Wall is back, and unfortunately we do see Andy getting picked up in the background, so Shirley has to try and dodge as much as he can. And these gates are quite interesting. I believe we had one at deep 12, and I believe we had one at 9 possibly.
Yeah, I do think so. Nevertheless, so yeah, the gates are 9 and 12, like you had mentioned. Gonna be taking that quick tag onto Avatorio, Shirley, another tag onto Saraman, who will just probably be making it out if he doesn't run into the wall into a hunter on the Wrecker's yard. Wait. No, that's cost them. That's so unfortunate. Maybe some game hitching there like I had or something of the sort, but that's just and yeah, people from Japan come and play. You know, we're always trying to get different types of communities involved in OSL, and that's the thing. Even though OSL is strictly, well, not strictly, but it does specify that we are based in the Oceanic community, Oceanic region, we will still see those other regions come into play as they are so close and don't really have anywhere else to call home in terms of competitive Dead by Daylight. But nevertheless, we'll be taking this match into effect on the side of Fushi, who will be spawning over at bottom. bottom 12, sorry, and now be rotating all the way down to these lockers over at bottom 8, seeing if we can catch someone off guard. We're going to be breaking the Macca's door over at bottom 7. Do spot some scratch marks over here in the courtyard, and I do presume we'll be going down to those god pallets like I had kind of predicted. And look at that. That is exactly what we are doing, and we're playing that very... We're going to be camping it on the side of... I'm not even too sure who that survivor is at the moment, but doing an absolutely incredible job making good use of that 11 pallet, but it is gone, unfortunately, and we have not committed the chase. So very good for Fushi to kind of pick up on that and go for somebody on a generator over in the distance. And we do manage to find another survivor here. Going to be following these scratch marks here over at, I do believe this is top 5, and now going to be taking a stun back on to see. Oh no, it was top 10. Sorry, my apologies. And now we're going to be playing around. Wait, is it? No, yeah, it's no, it was top. Oh my god, we're at bottom 5 now, but nevertheless we'll be dropping bottom 5 here. Sometimes a little bit hard for me to tell when we're in a room and I didn't see quite where we teleported to, but we are going to be taking this kick onto bottom 4 now with this dropped pallet here. We're not quite to get our first hit at the moment. Mighty unfortunate stuff. We see no field recorder. My god, wait. So this is quite interesting here, Gohan. We do see what are those add-ons?
I was actually looking for them in the background while you were talking about this match, and I believe I found them. I think one of them is called Burnt Letters, which increases the charge as added to Nightfall meter by injuring a survivor by 25%, and obviously Malthinker's Skull increases the charge rate of Nightfall while survivors are injured. So they're just going for like a massive rush onto getting Nightfall as quick as possible with just getting tags alone. But as most people know in the crowd, field recorder, you get it instantly, and then you usually follow it up with Malthinker's Skull to compensate for getting it back a bit quicker, because you can get tags quite quickly as the dredge. So a bit of an interesting choice of add-ons, but nonetheless, it is still add-ons that you can use and can combo with. So maybe that's why. Maybe Fushi is a bit more comfortable with these add-ons as well. Maybe that's why he's opted to go for it. But now we have the chase onto Corey here. He is going to not even drop the library pallet, but he is going to play this bottom library pallet as well, bottom 1. So, but we are going to teleport straight up towards, I believe, top 12 and actually catch out the Kate, which is Shiriley, and I believe it's just Chak. I don't think the 1 is an I. I don't know. We have to actually probably catch up with these teams to figure out how to say half these names, because half these names are quite of a pickle to say in the moment. But we are going to continue this chase on. We're going to go teleport right back up towards Shiriley. Going to swing through, unfortunately not going to be able to hit it as well. So now Shiriley is going to get this free drop as well. He's going to try and play this around, but unfortunately, Fushi is going to be able to get that tag onto Shiriley.
And Shiriley's going to have to make quick do of like what he has around him, getting kind of caught out in the middle there, now going down ultimately just before hitting the 3-tile. 2 generators in the background procking at the moment for the first hook of the game. Still heavily in the favor of the survivors as it currently stands. Now we do have Nightfall active. Hopefully we're able to traverse through some lockers with quick speed to see if we can catch anybody off guard. Not too sure if there's anybody in courtyard. I don't think so. Didn't hear anyone, didn't see anyone, and I think Fushi knows the same. We do manage to find a reset here over at this bottom 8 tile, sorry, this bottom 9 tile now rather. We are going to be taking the quick tag onto our Michaela, who's going to be running alongside our Jake all the way down into top 10. And we're going to opt to break these lockers. We're not going to continue on the chase. We're going to try and maybe catch them off guard via one of the teleportation lockers. So, or not, we're just going to go back for our tunnel out over at the top portion of the map, over top 12, and we do manage to find the scratch marks leading all the way down into top 12. Okay, so the top 12 room, rather. We're going to be taking this kick onto top 12 room. Now we're going to be going all the way down to the bottom 11 god pallet, which has been thrown. No pools of blood, so this does lead me to believe this is a healthy survivor, and even Fushi's picked up on that, opting not to chase and go for the reset instead. This will be the down onto Corey, our Jake. Unfortunately, now we're going to be rotating around this bottom 8 pallet as well on the side of our Michaela. This is extremely dire for our survivors at the moment. They're not really having a good time, and now we're going to be pre-dropping that pallet, but we're going to opt to go for the pickup here, play it a little bit more safe on the side of our our dredge, and we're going to try and recollect, reset on the side of the survivors. We are playing very aggressive for the generators at the moment. We do see Sin over at top 12, just pumping that generator away and, you know, getting a little bit scared of those lockers over at top 12 in the corner, so trying to pre-leave it accordingly, and we do manage to out Sin getting slapped through the pallet at top 11. That is mighty unfortunate here, so it's another tag, and everything is just a little bit in shambles at the moment. I mean, he could really realistically chase anyone here and have the upper hand just due to the fact that they don't have a health state alone. So we do see some blood pools and scratch marks over where the hook happened at bottom 8. Now we're going to be taking the kick back on to top 9. Going to be traversing through our lockers. Accidentally go through basement. We're back at Macca's, you know, bottom 7. So going to be coming out of these lockers, which have been locked over at the bottom 5 side hallway. Yeah, just this is very hard for the site. They need to get a reset happening, but they can't be found via the lockers. And we have found one of our injured survivors, which will be the Michaela Chak, who will be going all the way down, up this top 5 portion of the map. Very nice pallet late in here, pre-dropping that effectively. Not being able to make the window, just kind of has to make the door at this point. Not too sure they're going to be playing around this pallet. Yeah, and this is really, really well thought out to know that the remnant was placed just at the window and try to just play the door instead. Fushi just going to be catching Chak off guard, who has pre-dropped this top 5 pallet and will be getting hit. So now it just seems like, even though with the rough start that Fushi had, everything's just kind of falling into place, into his hands, where he can potentially pull back the match here.
Indeed it is. It looks... Clown Crew honestly just showing that they are a force to be reckoned with on the mid-witch as well, because from how they're playing right now, it just shows that the side of Clown Crew just enjoy this map thoroughly, because Fushi is just absolutely going crazy on this and being able to keep that pressure up as well. But they still haven't popped top 12, which is quite interesting to see. So I would assume that either that generator has regressed down to 0, or they're leaving the generator alone and not actually going to go for it. But we have found out our Jake Corey here running over from top 6, now going down towards bottom 5 here. So, but no, we've actually gone right back to Chak, and luckily he's got a window right here as well. We'll try to bait out, see if he would teleport in, but we have slow vaulted back into the tile, or no, he's just absolutely hold W and run away.
Maybe some Dance With Me action or something. I don't really know what that was, but we've lost all sight of whoever we were chasing over at top 3, and now we're going to opt to go back on Gen Patrol, I do believe, on the side of Fushi. We do have a lot more healthy survivors in the trial now, having 3 healthy, 1 injured, so everything looking a little bit more up for the side of our survivors here. We do see Shirali working a generator in the background, and a reset happening over at bottom 5, I hope that is. I'm not too sure, but we're going to be taking this kick on to top 8. Fushi can still pull this game back into his grasp. He just needs to make sure he finds that reset and downs Chak quickly, but we have found Sin, who is our sprint burst at the moment, who will be running around this bottom 3 room where there's absolutely nothing and going to be getting hit. Unfortunately, now we're rotating up to the top 1 side, but we're not going to have none of it on the side of Fushi. He's going to go back for the teleportation all the way over at this bottom 8, trying to catch someone off guard via the Nightfall, and we are in the undetectable phase at the moment. We do have like some immense traversability just being in this form alone, and we have spotted our double out. Very good for the survivors to kind of pick up on the fact that, yeah, this is, he's teleporting up here. Run now, run now. He's a knife. So pre-leaving that very nicely. Just kind of struggling to find someone via the scratch marks that have made immense amounts of distance, and you love to see it on the side of the survivors. A little bit laggy on our end, kind of hard to tell what's happening, proving to be a little bit hard to decipher what's happening in this game, and so we're going to have to play via the audio. We're going to be emerging out through the lockers on the side of Fushi, who will be taking a tag onto our Kate here, Shirali, who will be running all the way down to top 3, but we're going to have none of it again. Playing for tags on the sloppy. There's a good thing to know is like we have sloppy butcher at our disposal, so you can imagine that's why Fushi will be taking these tags, but they're playing around it very nicely, getting the resets in time and making sure they're not being found, and even just holding up the gen pusher in the background.
Indeed it is, and with how it is progressing right now, it looks like the stream has come back to us. So luckily, we won't be able to have to worry about a little bit of a slideshow action. So we are going to get the tag back onto Jack here. So, and as you said before, he can kind of just chase anyone really at this point. But ideally, you want to be getting this down onto Jack as he is the injured survivor, and we've teleported, unfortunately, down to the bottom of library. So now Jack is just got to be able to get that distance, get away, and he has also, man. We got little bags from Corey here. Corey, come on, man. Why are you bagging the killer, man?
It's not me, it's the other Corey, but nevertheless, we'll be taking chase onto our Jake Parker. We'll be running down to the bottom 3 through these classroom desks. And now, is he going to be getting caught out? Fushi just playing the tag and run game, the hit and run game. He's playing Simpsons hit and run at the moment, so we're just playing very safe, very slow, making sure. I think he's trying to get everyone injured at the moment and try to catch someone out off guard, but the survivor's a little too quick to react, and a little bit too knowledgeable at this point, so... we are back in Nightfall at the moment, so hopefully we can catch someone off. Oh no, we're not. I'm lying to you guys. I do apologize. For some reason, I thought we were. We do. Oh, we are now. Okay, so we see Corey, our Jake Park here, try to take chase all the way over at top 2, and going down. Unfortunately, this will be the quick pickup onto him, and another hook spelling, I think, 4, 5 stages in the trial. 4 stages at the moment as it stands. He is our second hook survivor. Our only fresh in the match being Sin at the moment, so Sin hasn't been found quite just yet. Playing very conservative and being very mindful of where his position is at all times. And wait, we're body blocking that too, so Sin, speak of the devil, can just commit that generator. Now going to be playing the clock tower. That could be really bad, but we've opted not to really play. We have opted to play. We're playing the mind game here. Swing through the pallet a little bit weird there from the side of Fushi. Could potentially be built a house here. No. Oh, I thought he was going to build a house. I got a little bit scared there. So, nevertheless, on the side of Fushi, going to be taking chase back onto Sin here. I think we're just going to... Oh, wait. We might build himself a house. No, we're going to opt to break this pallet over at the clock tower here. Play a little bit of the mind games. He should be pretty much dead here, but he's unzoned himself, which is actually really good on the side of Requimish here. So... Sin able to last a little bit longer over in this Macca's tile here of about 7 coming in for the proc hit here is Shirley not being able to make in front of the killer in time. We're going to be taking that kick now onto bottom 8, and once more the game kind of at a standstill. A very slow-paced game heading into the 13-minute mark as it currently stands. We do have Chak just overworking this top 3 generator as well, so the gen progress is very slow for what it's worth. This is the 5th hook of the trial as well. Everybody hooked now, though. All fresh is taken, which is a favor in our killer at the moment. But we might be seeing some outs here. We did mention that, you know, seeing a lot of 4Ks on the side of Dredge last season, kind of a little bit of the opposite this season. I feel like people were catching on to the counter play style, but nevertheless, we'll be taking the chase back onto Shirley, who will be running around this 12 pallet, getting hit through there, now running up to 1 to 2. And it seems to be whenever Fushi gets a tag, the survivors run up to 1 to 2 away from the generators, and he's just straight back to where the hook was, or straight back to where the generators are being progressed. So very nice work to him. Sloppy Butch really coming into effect here. It's really slowing down the resets, slowing down the game entirely. We do take chase back onto Corey, our Jake Park over at top 7, but we've opted to go for Sin to be the tunnel out at the moment. Fushi doing a little bit of wacky mind games here. Not too sure what's happening there, or maybe he's completely ditched the chase entirely, which is what it seems. We do see Shirley just over at the bottom 12 tile here, going all the way down to bottom 3. Nothing quite in the classroom for him to use. I think we're going for a reset on the side of Sin, just calming it out from the boys. So yeah, that's exactly what's happening. They're going to be resetting over at bottom 2. Fushi in the lock is now trying to look for his survivors here. Struggling a little bit at the moment. We have decided to emerge over at top 5, and we do go for a triple reset over at 2, so we're going to be able to get this done a lot quicker. Sloppy Butcher not quite in effect on the side of Sin as it has ran out, but we will be resetting Kate, who currently does have it in effect, and Chucky just playing very safe at the moment over. I'm not too sure where this is due to Nightfall, but it does seem to be top 3 if I had to make a guess. We caught out the reset on the side of Fushi, so you love to see this on the side of Clown Crew. but we've completely lost them. We just decide not to chase them. We're going to go back to our generators and play even safer, and there is still some locked lockers here. I'm not too sure. We're running out of locked lockers here, Gohan. It's going to be pretty difficult for the survivors to come back if Fushi plays his cards right.
Especially so, yeah. If he can play this right and just start slowing the game down in a sense where he can be able to get rid of the resources on the side of the survivors, just getting rid of every pallet, getting rid of all the lockers. He's still got one up here as well, so he's probably going to get rid of that one eventually. So let's see, is he able to get this mine back? But no, we have a life on the survivor of Chak. He's able to make the window yet again, and is okay. No, so yeah, he has Dance With Me as well, so he's going to try and loop all the way around again, but unfortunately not going to be able to make it. He's going to make inside the locker as well, but Eruption getting some procs in. We are going to be seeing the aura of the survivors as well. We do see the survivors on that toilet generator, trying to get that generator done ASAP, but Fushi, knowing this, is going to actually just opt to go for the top side of... Is this top 9? Yes, top 9. He's going to be over... He's actually not even opting to go down for that generator at the bottom there.
No, he's just playing very patiently at the moment. He's not taking any chances. He's just really trying to hone down on his 3 generator and 3 generator, oh my god. He is teleporting up towards the top portion of the map. I do believe this is top 3. Catch it out of reset! You gotta open up your eyes. He is around, and we've managed to get that done as it was fairly close to being finished when we had seen the reset taking into effect. But again, just all that work being undone on the side of Chak, and this is still completely doable for the side of the survivors. You do have access to 4 survivors in the trial at the moment and limited kicks on these generators. That is the 5th kick, I do believe, on that generator over at the top 9 portion of the map. Again, survivors playing it very patiently, and you love to see it. You do see Sin just kind of bobbing and weaving in and out of these doorways. No pallet to really play for, but the window, and we're going to be swinging at that on the side of Fushi. Not quite making, getting a little bit frustrated. We're going to be hitting the lock off the lockers there, and still got this dropped pallet here at our favor. And we're going to be looping on the side of Sin, who's going to probably greed and go for the window again, and does so nicely. Going to be vaulting into that as well, so it's just been proven to be pretty difficult on the side of Fushi. If Sin is able to just really last in this chase, and he is, it's not even a tag happening at the moment. So I mean, wow, this is incredible stuff from the side of Sin. He's going to be getting tagged now, unfortunately, and that will be the generator in the background proc. I do think Fushi had kind of succumbed to that fact. Unfortunately, he did think that that was going to happen regardless. So he's opted to just entirely chase here Sin, who will be playing very patiently. This pallet, slapping the pallet in Fushi's face. Criminal. Is he going to be able to make bottom 6 door, is my question. We do have Corey, our Jake Park, coming in for the hits. Take it! Take the hits, boys! Take this! Oh, he's just out. Oh, that's crazy.
They've done it.
Unbelievable stuff. Very well played by the Survivor team. Very well played, the Requimish. Unfortunate for Fushi. He played the best of his abilities, trying to hold that 3 gen up. This is, and yes, it is the bottom 3 classroom. We will be rotating over to the other side of the map to bottom 10, where we'll be trying to take into effect our teleportation mechanics, try to catch someone out off guard. We do see Killer Instinct on 2 survivors emerging out of the lockers, and we'll be taking this first chase onto our Claudette Satoru, who will be getting a very nice stun here over at top 9, sorry. Vaulting the window into top 10 by getting caught out via the lockers. Very nice from Ask to kind of pick up on that fact and get a nice quick and early tag. He does notice that those lockers in the distance have been locked as well, but also Satoru kind of pathing in the favor of Ask at the moment. We are going to be utilizing another window as it seems. So both windows topside. Interesting to note at the moment. Ask playing the Remnant very nicely, but again, Satoru reading it also very nicely is going to be able to make this top 11 tile, pre-dropping that in the process. And we're going to be faking the vault, but not quite working out in our favor. And this was well the first down at what was much quicker than last game at the moment. Gohan looking pretty dire here for Clown Crew as it currently stands, if we aren't able to get adequate gen pressure in the background, and it being nightfall of all things at the moment too.
Indeed it is, and this time we do see the field recorder making its grand return with Broken Doll, so increased duration by 20%, and then obviously you start in Nightfall. But if, as well, if a survivor tries to get rid of the remnant, you actually get exhausted as well for like around 15 seconds. So if they want to try and take a protection hit in a sense of trying to body block for the remnant, it's gonna spell bad news bears for them, especially if they have an exhaustion. But unfortunately, we have run into the active.
Yeah, we have now taking another tag onto Chikembe, as Jarms likes to say. Now I'm going to start saying it, but Satoru going to be taking this chase back onto bottom 8 tile, where we'll be pre-dropping that pallet. Going to be playing a little bit of mind games here, but getting caught out. Ask kind of hitting the brick wall there. Satoru's playing a very good game for what it's worth still, even though we haven't had quite the start we did last game on the side of Clown Crew survivors at the moment, but still a good performance nonetheless, as it currently stands. Going to be dropping down this well, the well, or the hole in bottom 8, and going for a little bit of an FOV tech, trying to hide inside of the killer. Where did I go? But, you know, Ask is going to read straight through that. A generator in the background procking as a result of this chase, so 4K3 as it stands at the moment. Chikahime going down, unfortunately, at this bottom 10 tile just before making the pallet. Greed for the generator, and I do agree with that. It's just mighty unfortunate that they weren't able to really make that pallet. And wait, we got another gen procking in the background too. So wait, this is still completely doable for the side of Clown Crew. A disadvantage that they have at the moment though is they have 2 hooked survivors right next to each other. Gohan, this is pretty bad. Maybe they shouldn't have greeted for that generator over at bottom 10.
Yeah, it is looking like bad news bears, especially considering he's actually blocking the survivor as well on hook as well. So Taka can't really do much here, so it's forcing Fushi to come in and take a hit for it. So Taka is going to be able to come in and get the pull as well, but unfortunately he is going to take a tag as well when we're coming in, but we are just going to go straight for Satoru, knowing that we have to get those gens as well. It's going to be quite rough, but we are looking at 4 stages to fresh right now, with 2 gens remaining, so they're doing pretty well for themselves. Like, Clown Crew is showing that, yeah, they don't mind if they have to play on Midwich, because they're comfortable with Midwich.
Not only that, I mean, this will be Satori out of the game now, but we're at the 3v1 at 2 generators remaining, so not the worst thing in the world. Still definitely being able to pull it back on the side of the survivors, but what you have to take into account is that they're all injured. They need to be resetting, and they can't afford to get found. They can't even 99 because of Sloppy Butcher unless it has completely ran out on the side of every survivor. So it's been some pretty interesting game plans being cooked up here, I think, to try and emerge from this scenario. But we do find Fushi here trying to work these short fillers over at top 2 and just kind of getting hit through that pallet there, unfortunately. ASK playing very well for what it's worth, and now going to be spotting someone, or 2 survivors rather, over at this top 10 tile. Sprint burst taken into effect on the side of our ace Taka, who's going to be running outside of that room, but Chikahime just kind of caught through that pallet and going to be going down over at top 10. We're going to go for the pick onto Chikahime, which is interesting. I thought we would have gone for the little bit of a slug there and try to finish the game nice and quick, you know, if we were able to find Taka, but slowing it down a little bit on the side of ASK, and that will be the 5th stage of the game. So still not quite won the win con just yet, but is looking extremely, extremely in our favor on the side of Requimish, as we do find Taka kind of stealthing out, just out of position over at top 6. I do say that this will be them down as well, and this will spell the 4K2 on the side of ASK, who probably you'd find doesn't even really play the dredge that much, has just kind of been brought up to the task as per team requirement. But we're going to be playing the mind games of the Remnant over here at top 4 as well, being read nicely by the side of Taka, who will be now vaulting the pallet and making that unscathed. Very nice work from him. Not too sure if resilience is involved there, buddy, but no, nevertheless, we'll be taking still the chase in the same exact spot. Double vaulting there, not quite working out in our favor, getting hit through that via the mind games, and that will be Taka down, unfortunately. And that will spell the 4K2 ultimately. And even if Fushi was to bleed out here, Fushi hasn't been hooked, but it still won't matter because the Requimish win on gens. So they win 2-0. They win 2-0. They take it home for their first win of the tournament. After 2 losses, they have won. Clan Crew still forever in search of their first win of series win, rather. Sorry, they did manage to almost come very close in week 1 when they versed Desolus, but not quite being able to prevail in the end.